For decades, the story of Alzheimer's has had a very clear villain. But what if we've been looking at the wrong part of the crime scene this whole time? Some really fascinating new research is suggesting a major twist, pointing to a completely new target in the fight against this devastating disease. So let's dive in and take a closer look at what this brand new clue could mean. Okay, first, let's just get a sense of the scale here. We're talking about 32 million people living with Alzheimer's across the globe. That's just a staggering number. This isn't just some scientific puzzle, it's a full-blown global health crisis. And that's exactly why every single new clue, every potential breakthrough, is so incredibly important. For pretty much as long as we've been fighting Alzheimer's, this stuff has been public enemy number one, beta amyloid plaque. The whole idea is that these sticky proteins start clumping together between the nerve cells in our brains. They create this toxic mess that leads to inflammation and, eventually, cell death. This has been the central theory driving literally billions of dollars in research for years.
But here is the question that might just change everything. What if the plaques themselves are just a symptom? What if the real problem, the root cause, is a breakdown in the brain's own ability to clean up that mess? I mean, that one question opens up a completely new front in the war against Alzheimer's.
So to really appreciate why this new clue is such a good deal, we first have to understand the main suspect that's been at the center of this whole investigation for decades. Let's dig into the theory that has absolutely dominated the field, the plaque problem. And this is it. The amyloid hypothesis. It's a pretty straightforward idea that has guided so much research. Basically, it says that if you can just get rid of these sticky amyloid plaques, you can slow down or maybe even stop the disease. It makes a lot of sense, right? And for a very long time, it was our best and really our only lead.
But here's the thing. Recently, that really solid-seeming theory, well, it's starting to look a little shaky. As more and more data comes in from actual clinical trials, some serious cracks are starting to appear, and the story's getting way more complicated than we thought.
And this isn't just some debate happening in a lab somewhere. You've got neurologists like Dr. Clifford Siegel here who are saying what a lot of doctors are seeing on the front lines every single day. The drugs that are designed to clear out this amyloid plaque, they're having, at best, really modest effects. And a lot of the time, patients see no noticeable improvement in their daily lives. So here's the bottom line. The evidence is getting wobbly. We have these new drugs that are actually really good at removing plaque from the brain, but that's not leading to the big cognitive improvements everyone hoped for. And then there's the really weird part. You have some people walking around with brains just full of amyloid plaques, but with zero memory problems. And at the same time, you have other people with severe dementia who have very little plaque at all. That direct link we thought was so strong, it's just not as clear anymore. Okay, so if the plaque isn't the whole story, what else is going on? Well, this is where our story takes a turn, and a whole different set of characters enters the picture, the brain's own support system. Let's meet the dedicated cleanup crew that's been working tirelessly behind the scenes. We're talking about astrocytes. These are a kind of glial cell. And honestly, you can just think of them as the brain's janitors, its mechanics, its first responders, the whole shebang. Their job is to support our neurons. And when something goes wrong, like one of these plaques starts to form, they rush to the scene to contain the damage and hopefully clear out the garbage. And when these astrocytes get to a plaque, they do something really cool. They actually surround it, forming this kind of protective barrier that scientists call a glial net. Now, this is a totally normal, healthy response. But what if something was stopping this amazing cleanup crew from doing its job? And that question brings us to this brand new research from the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. They used some really powerful computer analysis to go on a hunt for genes that might be playing a secret role in Alzheimer's. And they found a very, very interesting new suspect. So meet plexin B1. It's a protein, and it acts kind of like an antenna or a receptor on the surface of cells. This heavy-duty data analysis flagged it as a hub gene. Basically, that means it's a key player that's connected to all sorts of other things going on in late-onset Alzheimer's. This was the fresh clue that researchers were so desperately looking for. Okay, this slide breaks down the whole thing. Let's just walk through it. Number 1, a plaque forms. Simple enough. Number 2, the cleanup crew, or astrocytes, shows up ready to work. But, and this is the crucial part, look at number 3. That plexin B1 protein gets activated and it acts like a stop sign. It literally blocks the cleanup crew from doing its job. And here is the incredible finding from the study. Number 4,
When the researchers blocked that plexin B1 protein in mice, it was like hitting the go button again. The cleanup crew was freed up to get back to work, and the plaques got cleared out way more effectively.
Now, a finding like this is obviously a huge deal, but science is all about debate, right? It's about checking the work. So how is the rest of the scientific community reacting to this new clue? Is this real hope, or is it just hype? As you might expect, experts are kind of divided between cautious optimism and some real skepticism. On one side, you have neuropsychologists like Dr. Karen Sullivan who see this as a potential new window of hope. They're excited about empowering the brain's own defenses. But on the other side, you still got neurologists like Dr. Clifford Siegel who are skeptical that just removing plaque is the magic bullet. He's actually more interested in these support cells for their own sake, not just for their role in cleaning up plaque. It's really a debate between fixing the symptom versus strengthening the whole system.
Still, you can feel the optimism. I mean, a new window of hope is exactly what millions of patients and their families have been waiting for. This research isn't just about tweaking an old idea. It feels like it's opening a totally new door, one that focuses on the brain's ability to heal itself, not just on the damage being done to it.
So with this really promising new target on the map, what happens now? I mean, a discovery in mice is a fantastic first step, but the journey to an actual human therapy is a long one. Let's take a look at the road ahead for this line of research.
The research team has a pretty clear plan. They're using AI to quickly screen for existing drugs that might be able to target plexin B1. They're also developing these highly specific antibodies that can go in and block it from working. So the next big step is to test these potential drugs and antibodies and see if they can safely and effectively take the brakes off the brain's cleanup crew in people.
And that really leaves us with this final, massive question. For so long, we've thought of this disease as a fight, an attack on an enemy, the plaque. But maybe, just maybe, the future is less about fighting an invader and more about empowering our own internal army. Is the ultimate answer not in a bomb, but in a shield? That's the incredibly exciting new possibility that this research has put on the table.